Welcome to the 2011 U.S. Lacrosse Women's Rules Interpretation DVD. My name is Ann Kit Carpinetti, Managing Director for Game Administration for U.S. Lacrosse. U.S. Lacrosse is the national governing body for men and women's lacrosse. Through responsive and effective leadership, we provide programs and services to inspire participation while protecting the integrity of the game. This educational DVD is intended to help umpires, coaches, players, and fans better understand the rules of women's lacrosse and the spirit behind those rules. These video clips have been selected for educational purposes and are not intended to highlight any program or umpire. U.S. Lacrosse's rules are designed to maintain the spirit of the game and to ensure the safety of play at all levels. U.S. Lacrosse oversees the Women's Rules Subcommittee, and they are charged with reviewing existing rules and recommending changes annually. The National Federation of High School Associations endorses U.S. Lacrosse rules as the official rules for girls and women's lacrosse. The spirit of the women's game includes the philosophy that the game should flow as continuously as possible, and the outcome of the game should be determined by legal play, and that players, coaches, and umpires should observe the intent of the rules and not try to take advantage of them. In order to achieve the goal of maintaining safety and integrity in the women's game, U.S. Lacrosse is fully committed to providing the appropriate training opportunities for coaches and umpires.
Hello, my name is Patty Daly, U.S. Lacrosse National Rated Umpire and member of the U.S. Lacrosse Umpiring Training Committee. Let's discuss the major rule changes for the 2011 season. Rule 2, Equipment and Uniform. Hard and unyielding items, for example guards, casts, braces, and splints, on the hand, wrists, forearm, elbow, upper arm, or shoulder are prohibited unless padded with a closed cell slow recovery foam padding no less than a ½ inch thick. Knee and ankle braces that are unaltered from the manufacturer's original design production do not require additional padding. Uniforms. This is a reminder that new uniform specifications go into effect beginning with the 2013 season. Be sure to check the rulebook when purchasing uniforms. Rule 3, Game Personnel. The game should be officiated by 2 U.S. Lacrosse rated umpires. Scorer duty. The scorer must notify the umpire immediately if a team receives its third card. Rule 5, Play of the Game. Draw set. When setting up the draw, the umpires should be aware of possible height differentials between the centers. Place the crosses in such a way that neither player gains an advantage. Concussion. Any player who exhibits signs, symptoms, or behaviors consistent with a concussion, such as a loss of consciousness, headache, dizziness, confusion, or balance problems, shall be immediately removed from the game and shall not return to play until cleared by an appropriate healthcare professional. Rule 7, Penalty Administration. Carded players will serve the penalty time in the team's bench area. Yellow cards. Anyone receiving 2 yellow cards in a single game will be suspended from further participation in that game and must sit out the team's next game. Red cards. Anyone receiving a red card will be suspended from further participation in that game and must sit out the team's next 2 games. For the youth teams using level full check rules, where a check to the head is a mandatory red card, a player will continue to sit out 1 game if a red card is received. Cumulative cards. Once a team receives its 3rd card of the game, the team will play shorthanded for the remainder of the game. They will lose an additional player each time another card is received. The carded player will serve the 3-minute penalty and may substitute if she is eligible to do so at the end of the penalty. Head coach cards. The head coach will be responsible for the behavior of personnel affiliated with her team and will receive any cards related to lack of bench decorum. Cards given to coaches will be included in the team's card count. The coach shall designate a player to be removed from the field. Rule 9. Manufacturer's specifications. One section dealing with lacrosse has been changed in the manufacturer's specifications for equipment. Section 8 will now require that each stick have dedicated stringing holes. Use of decorative openings for stringing or stringing holes in alternate locations created issues with reverse pockets that led to an unfair advantage on the draw. Stringing holes must now be along the bottom rail of the stick. If a stick has holes in more than one location, only the holes along the bottom rail may be used when attaching the pocket to the stick. Placement of the stringing holes will now be measured from the bottom of the sidewall to the top of the stringing hole. That distance can be no more than 1 centimeter. This stick without dedicated stringing holes will remain legal for use with the following restrictions. The stick may no longer be manufactured but may be sold and used until supplies are depleted. The stick must be strung through the openings along the bottom rail. The stick may not be used by any player taking the draw. Coaches are reminded that they must certify to the officials before each game that all their equipment is legal under the rules. Shooting strings shall not be rolled or coiled or twisted more than twice between each thong. Beginning in the 2011 season, all sticks must be in strict compliance with Section 24. Youth rules. When a 4-goal differential exists, the team with fewer goals will take possession at the center. Positioning for the draw shall apply with the defender standing 4 meters away at a 45-degree angle, and all other players must stand. A maximum of 5 pairs of players may be between the restraining lines. The team who is trailing may waive this possession and continue to draw. Points of emphasis. Now let's move to the points of emphasis for this season. In a continuing attempt to ensure safe and legal play, the Rules Committee identified 3 points of emphasis. These points are maintaining the integrity of the sphere, illegal use of the cross, and the continued emphasis on the carding of dangerous play. The first point of emphasis is maintaining the integrity of the sphere. The sphere is an imaginary area of approximately 7 inches surrounding the player's head. Due to the danger involving play around the head that may jeopardize player safety, consistent application of the rules regarding the sphere is essential. Umpires are instructed to be vigilant for fouls that may be initiated by the defense or the attack. In the first 2 clips, the defenders are making checks toward the attackers' faces, and the crosses are entering the sphere in an unsafe manner. This motion is intimidating and dangerous and should be called at once. In the third video, the first illegal cross and sphere foul was recognized with a held whistle and an arm showing direction of possession. The second cross in the sphere was also a held whistle. No held whistle is necessary. The foul should be penalized with an immediate whistle. The Rules Committee continues to place an emphasis on making the call immediately versus using an arm to show advantage. Showing advantage has no effect on changing the player's behavior. In light of the new comprehensive carding policy, addressing these fouls sooner rather than later may reduce the number of opportunities for cardable play. In the last video clip, you will see the defender's cross poking toward the attack player's face. No player is allowed to use her cross to intimidate another player. This would include directly poking the cross toward another player's face or waving the cross too closely in front of the player's face. This should be called. The second point of emphasis is the illegal use of cross. The emphasis continues to be that the use of cross should be appropriate. A foul must be called when a cross is used in a malicious, dangerous, or intimidating manner. Strong consideration should be given for issuing a card. Players are not allowed to lower the head of the cross below shoulder level and initiate cross-to-body contact. Players are not allowed to cross-check, that is, use the shaft of the cross to hit, push, or displace an opponent. In addition, a player may not detain an opponent at any time by holding or pushing. In the first video clip, the defender approaches the attack player, plants her feet, and lowers her cross horizontally. She then extends her arms into the body of the attack player. There was no attempt to play the ball or execute a legal check. This type of play is considered a cross check and should be penalized. The second video clip shows a defender approaching from the side and from behind, reaching across the body of the attack and making cross-to-body contact. Then, as the attack player continues on her path, the defender again reaches from behind and hits the player on the body. The defender may not attempt to reach across the body of the attack player unless the defender's feet are ahead of the attack player. A foul must be called in this situation. The third video clip is an excellent example of an off-ball illegal use of the cross. While the ball is at the top of the 12-meter fan, an attack player cuts from the opposite side into the center of the 8-meter arc, asking for the ball. The low defender slides to pick up the cutter, extends her arms, and displaces the cutter from her path. This illegal use of the cross must be called. In the following clips, each defender establishes legal body and cross positioning. She does not use her cross to push, hit, or displace her attacker. Although there is incidental contact, neither the attack nor the defense has committed a foul. The third point of emphasis is a continued focus on the carding of dangerous play. With respect to the new comprehensive carding policy, the expectation is that umpires continue to allow the penalty situation to dictate whether or not a card is warranted. Umpires need to apply cards without regard to the resulting consequences of the new penalty administration. Umpires must card appropriately to enforce the rules and ensure the safety for all players and the integrity of the women's game. The Rules Committee would like to emphasize that the issuance of cards is a warning to all players. In the following videos, you will see examples of cardable fouls. In this clip, a defensive player shoves an attacking player out of bounds and to the ground. The defender makes no attempt to play the ball or cross. Instead, she uses her cross and body to propel the player from her path and out of bounds. This example demonstrates the use of excessive force, and although it is not one of the 4 mandatory cardable offenses, it is dangerous and must be carded. In this video, the goalkeeper has possession of the ball and attempts to clear the ball around an advancing defender. Upon release, the ball is dangerously propelled into the face of the defender with such force it dislodges the player's eyewear. As dangerous propelling is a mandatory cardable offense, the goalkeeper must be given a card. In the following video clip, the white attack player is moving the ball up the sideline. A green defender approaches from behind, slides her hands down the shaft of the cross, and makes a long, swiping motion from high to low. While a check from behind is legal, and in this case no contact was made, this motion is considered a slash and is a mandatory card. In this next video, a card is administered for a check to the head. The blue defender, in an attempt to reach across the body to check, hits the attack player squarely in the face with the shaft of her cross. This clearly demonstrates dangerous play and must be carded. In the final video clip, white is transitioning into her attacking end. As she nears the restraining line, a blue defender swings wildly and out of control. Officials must be alert to reckless and dangerous swipes around the head and body, slipped hands, and large swings with the crosse. Remember, a slash has the potential for causing serious injury. Slashing such as this in the midfield must be stopped and penalized with a card immediately. We would like to conclude this presentation with an area of concern: the application and enforcement of the youth rules. The Rules Committee is concerned about the application of the proper set of rules for the appropriate level of play for youth lacrosse. We remind umpires and coaches that the purpose of the youth rules is to familiarize young players with the sport of women's lacrosse. Youth lacrosse should be fun, challenging, and safe. Specific age and eligibility requirements are established in accordance with U.S. lacrosse guidelines and should be communicated to umpires and coaches prior to the contest. Prior communication reinforces that age and eligibility guidelines, as well as rules, are not something that is determined or negotiated immediately before the game at the field. U.S. Lacrosse recommends that leagues should be organized by age. Players who are under the age of 10 play level B or C youth rules. 11-year-olds should progress from levels B or C to level A rules. If grade-based divisions are used, teams below 5th grade must use either level B or C rules. 5th through 8th grade should progress from level B or C to level A rules. Level C rules include the following modifications to the approved U.S. Lacrosse women's rules. 7 field players. The use of a goalkeeper is optional. Recommended field size is 50 by 25 yards. The only required lines on the field are an 8-meter arc and a center line. Youth cross, mesh allowed, or a regular women's cross modified pocket. No checking. 20-minute halves maximum with running time. May not shoot from any free position unless using a goalkeeper or modified goal opening. Level B rules include 11 field players, 1 goalkeeper. Recommended field size is 90 by 50 yards. All regular field markings. Regular women's cross, modified pocket allowed. No checking. 25-minute halves maximum with running time. May shoot from direct free positions. Level A rules include 11 field players, 1 goalkeeper. Recommended field size is 100 by 70 yards. All regular field markings. Regular women's cross with a regulation pocket. Modified checking only. A discussion of the modified checking rules will follow. 25-minute halves maximum with running time. May shoot from direct free positions. Full checking rules may only be used by those groups who have met all of the following criteria. League program has been in existence for at least 5 years and must progress players through from level B or C to level A before playing level FC. All players must be in 7th or 8th grade or on U15, U13 teams. No players under the age of 12 are allowed, and players must average at least 3 years of playing experience. All coaches must have U.S. Lacrosse Level 1 coaching certification. Games must be officiated by 2 U.S. lacrosse-rated officials, both of whom must have held a local rating for a minimum of 2 years. A check to the head is a mandatory red card. The player is removed from that game and must sit out the team's next game. League program must receive approval from the local umpiring board chair that there are a sufficient number of qualified umpires to adequately cover the games. In Level A, players may execute a modified check. In Levels B and C, players may not check at all. Here, the attack player is cradling with her cross below shoulder level. The defender, who is in good position, may check the cross, but only down and away. If the attacker's cross is equal to or above the shoulder, or the defender's check is not down and away, then the play is illegal and a major foul is called. For a non-checking game, any attempted check should be considered illegal. However, Not all cross-to-cross contact is illegal. You will need to determine if the defender is trying to check the offensive player, which is illegal, or if the offensive player caused the cross-to-cross contact during a pass or shot, which is not a foul. One minor foul, which is unique to the youth game, is holding the ball for more than 3 seconds when closely guarded or marked. Since youth games are not checking or modified checking, the defense can be rewarded for maintaining good marking positioning. If the defensive player establishes proper position to make a legal check and can maintain this position for 3 seconds, then the offense must turn the ball over to the defender. The umpire will count the 3 seconds allowed while giving a visible signal, blow the whistle, and set up a minor foul free position for the defender. If, during the 3-second count, the attack player moves the cross to a non-checkable position, the 3-second count must end. A new count will begin when the defender is again in possession to check.
Thank you for watching the 2011 U.S. Lacrosse Women's Rules Interpretation DVD. We hope that you will use and share all that you have learned with others on the field this year. As coaches and umpires, there is no greater contribution you can make to the sport than keeping the game safe and training to achieve a greater understanding of the rules. Play safe and best of luck to you this season.